So, I guess I'll start out with a question for both Mr. Yamazaki and Mr. Kamiki. This film, Godzilla Minus One, is a period piece about post-World War II Japan as much as it is about Godzilla himself. Why is this setting vital to the story you're telling?
2人とも質問なんですけれども、第二次世界大戦戦後の設定はなんですごく大切だったんですか？大切な設定だったんでしょうか？
やっぱり一つは昭和の世界にゴジラが一番似合うんじゃないかなって前々から思ってたんで、ぜひその時代でゴジラの映画を作りたかったっていうのと、やっぱり日本が一番弱っていた時にゴジラが来ることで、政府もあまり機能してない、武器もないっていうところで立ち上がる人々の姿を見て、今の人たちに勇気を持ってもらいたかった。大きな2つの理由。
So I'll start with what the director just said. So first of all, I really always wanted to have Godzilla back in that Showa era. So I've always felt like Godzilla, that was like his right place in history. And also we're looking at a environment where the Japanese people really are at their weakest point. You know, they have a very dysfunctional government at that point. There's no weapons. And so it's really a reflection on how much they have to rely on their knowledge and bravery in order to overcome Godzilla.
で、その監督の設定のおかげで役作りを苦しむことになりました。
And thanks to the director setting it at that, as an actor and / my character, I got to struggle even more than I already had to.
How do you think American audiences see Godzilla differently from Japanese audiences?
ゴジラを見るアメリカ人のお客さんとゴジラを見る日本人のお客さんってどう違いますか？
どう違う？
まだね、見てもらってないんで、わからないんですけど、でも、よく日本人非常に黙って静かにこう見ます。で、アメリカのお客さんたちって、盛り上がりながら見る。すごくアメリカのお客さんたちが盛り上がってるの、僕らは羨ましいんですね。それを肌で感じたい。だから今回これをアメリカに持ってきてプレミア試写をするときに、お客さんたちがどういう反応をするかっていうのはものすごい楽しみだし怖くもあります。
So we haven't had a US audience see Minus One yet. We're definitely looking forward to it. In general, you know, from what we understand is that in Japan, most moviegoers are very polite and they will very watch intently. But whereas a US audience, they cheer on, they clap, they interact as the story goes along. And for us filmmakers, you know, that's something we wish we have in Japan too. So we're definitely looking forward to it, but at the same time, a little scared too.
そうですね。まあもちろん見ていただいてないからわからないところもあるんですけど、ただ過去の作品で海外で、ゴジラの作品があって、でそれは海外の方が見たゴジラ、作ったゴジラ、だと思うんですよ。だけど今回今までのゴジラとも違う、その世界を意識したゴジラ、日本が作ったゴジラっていうのを見ていただいて、この海外の皆さんが作ったゴジラとどういうふうに違うのかっていうのは楽しみですね。どう思ってもらえるのかっていう。
Yeah, so like the director, you know, I haven't had the experience of watching a US audience watch Minus One, but you know, the Godzilla that was created outside of Japan is a Godzilla made outside of Japan. It's its own thing. However, what's really unique about this film this time is that it's a Japanese Godzilla with an international intent behind it. So I'm really hoping that audiences can kind of have fun comparing the international Godzilla versus Japan Godzilla. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how everyone reacts.
Excellent, thank you. And what other Godzilla movies would you most recommend that American audiences watch?
アメリカの、ファンの、の方々に、他のゴジラをおすすめするとしたら、どのマイナスワン以外、何をおすすめしますか？
アメリカのお客さん。
So, Kimberly, contextually, like for an American audience member who's never seen Godzilla, or
シン・ゴジラ。
Maybe American audiences who've never seen Japanese Godzilla films, like the original or Godzilla Mothra.
そして例えば日本のゴジラ見たことないアメリカ人にどれを見てほしいですか？
マイナスワン。
Minus One, yeah.
非常にゴジラの知識がない人が見て、ちゃんと理解できるゴジラだから、最初に見るゴジラとしては非常にいいと思いますよ。
Yeah, I think, as a gateway into the world of Godzilla for those who aren't indoctrinated yet, I think Godzilla Minus One is the right entry point.
じゃあそれを見た後にファーストゴジラ
ファーストゴ
を見てい
ジラを見て
ただければ、
いただければ
ワンセッ
もう
ト。
大体パーフェクト。
Yeah, so then after that, if they can watch the first Godzilla movie, then you have a great movie night, and you can really capture Godzilla for anyone who's new.
Excellent, thank you. So I have a few questions for the actor and a few questions for the director on his own. But of course, they're both welcome to interject if they also have some thoughts about the questions. But yeah.
個別の質問なんですけれども、他にコメントした方、自由にコメントしてください。Okay, go ahead.
Right. So, Mr. Kamiki, what was the hardest part about acting opposite a legendary figure like Godzilla, who's basically a force of nature?
今回の作品でゴジラが相手なので、何が一番難しかったですか？
人類が味わったことのないような絶望が目の前に存在するっていう、設定が一番難しかったですね。実際撮影ではもちろんいなかったですし、それを想像しながら芝居をするのが一番難しかったですね。ただ、わからないからこそ一番の、現場のその舵取りのもう監督の高橋山崎が OK っていうのを信じて演技をしてました。
Yeah, so it was really difficult when your I guess co-star is Godzilla, and of course, on set, I never got to see him, of course, but Godzilla, one of the through lines that I always carried with me is that Godzilla is basically hopelessness taken form, but this is hopelessness that humans have never experienced or encountered. And what is that? So that was my biggest challenge of always maintaining that and continuing to explore that throughout the movie. And of course, I might be quote unquote a little lost in that way, but that's when the director is, he's like, okay, great cut. Then I completely trust him and I can move on.
So this will be the last question, Kimberly.
Right. Right. Mr. Yamazaki, I understand that you wrote this screenplay over multiple years during the pandemic. How did the pandemic influence the screenplay and your overall filmmaking?
これの中に脚本を書いたとお伺いしたんですけれども、コロナは、どういうふうに脚本に影響ありましたか？それだと制作始まってからコロナの影響ありましたか？
非常に大きな出来事が作成中にあったんで、やっぱり影響はどうしても受けてしまうんですけど、日本政府があんまり動いてくれない感じで、民間でそれなんとかしなきゃいけないんだっていう感じはすごく影響してると思います。現場もやっぱりすごく衛生体制というか、聞かれていて、定期的にみんなスタジオの外に出て空気を入れ替えたりとか、非常にそこは厳密な体制のことでやったんですけど、何かやっぱりゴジラ映画を作るっていうことが世の中の不安みたいなものを形にして で、それをこう、静まってもらうっていうことがゴジラ映画を作ることなんではないかなって最近はすごく思ってるんで、やっぱりコロナの影響、あるいはそのウクライナの問題、今のイスラエルの問題っていうのは、そんなに表にこう出してなくても、かなり影響を与えてるんではないかなっていうふうに。
Yeah, so yes, it definitely did have a lot of influence on when I was writing. And at the time when COVID hit, there was this sense that the Japanese government wasn't doing enough. So civilians were kind of left up to finding solutions. And there was definitely that air going around. And on set, of course, we followed COVID protocols. We would intermittently, have all the crew like leave the soundstage so we could change the air over and things like that. But I think, especially at this point, as a filmmaker, I really feel that Godzilla really exemplifies all your worries you have in the world. And on top of that, there's COVID, there's Ukraine, there's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And so I really feel that the process, especially with Godzilla, is that Godzilla exemplifies all the worries and all these wars in the world. And it's almost ritualistically going to calming this Godzilla down and to bring peace. So I'm almost feeling that we're in this cycle of calming all these things down.
Right. Thank you so much for your time and for this opportunity. It's been wonderful getting to speak with you.